What if I told you that over 1.4 million Pi just moved into the main net in the last 24 hours, while nearly 12 million more Pi were suddenly unlocked and potentially flooding the market? Yep. Things are getting real spicy in the Pi network ecosystem right now, and if you're not paying attention, you might just miss the next big move. The market is shifting, supply numbers are bouncing, and that Pi price, it's dancing between short-term pressure and the hope of a rebound. Today, we're diving deep into the fresh numbers, the circulating supply shock, and what could happen next in the Pi network price. Stick around because we've got everything from the latest migration updates to the rising tension between unlocked Pi and trading behavior, all wrapped up with a short-term price prediction that could help you stay one step ahead. But here's the real question. Do you think today's unlocked Pi will be held or dumped into the market? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's debate it. Also, don't forget to catch up on my recent videos to stay plugged into everything about Pi Network. Links in the description below. Type Pi Network to the moon. And let us know where you're watching from in the comments right now. It helps build this amazing community of pioneers. If you want more updates like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That's how you show support and help us keep bringing you the latest Pi Network news, from mainnet migration to KYC issues to price movement. Also, make sure to join our Telegram and Facebook page for real-time discussions and updates with fellow pioneers like you. Quick disclaimer, this video is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. It's not financial advice, you know the drill. Alright, let's get into it. The Pi network might have stopped mining, but that doesn't mean the activity has slowed down, not by a long shot. The engine is still hot, and the mainnet transition is proving to be one of the most talked about phases in Pi's journey so far. Just in the last 24 hours, we saw 1.44 million Pi tokens successfully migrated into the open mainnet. That might sound like a routine stat, but in the current context, it's a signal that real action is unfolding beneath the surface. Now, migration isn't just about moving tokens, it's about access, liquidity, and value. With every successful migration, we see pioneers inching closer to fully utilizing their Pi in the real world. But here's the kicker. Alongside that 1.44 million migrated Pi, a much bigger number made waves today. 11.8 million Pi got unlocked. Let that sink in for a moment. That's 11.8 million tokens that were previously locked up now floating freely, ready to be traded, held, or spent. And this is where things get interesting. Or concerning, depending on your outlook. Because unlocked Pi increases the liquidity available in the system, yes, but it also introduces a major factor that could affect the price: sell pressure. If too many of those freshly unlocked Pi tokens are dumped onto the market at once, it creates an oversupply situation. Demand can't keep up, and naturally, the price takes a hit. That's exactly what we're watching for today. But before we unpack what that means for short-term price action, let's break down where we stand with Pi's supply. At this moment, the total supply of Pi stands at 11.30 billion tokens. Out of that, 7.34 billion are already circulating. That's the part being actively traded or held by users. Meanwhile, 5.22 billion Pi are still locked up, waiting in the wings, and around 333.95 million Pi are sitting on centralized exchanges, CEX, watching the game unfold from the sidelines. This supply breakdown isn't just a bunch of numbers, it tells us how close we are to potential tipping points in the market. The delicate balance between circulating Pi and locked Pi is crucial. As more Pi gets unlocked over time, the market needs to find equilibrium. If unlocks outpace demand or utility, we'll continue to see bearish pressure on the price. Now, let's zoom into the markets and see what's actually happening in real time. As of today, Pi is trading at around $0.617. The 24-hour low dipped to $0.603, and the high briefly touched $0.648. The trading volume hit a solid $92.03 million, which is significant, showing that people are actively engaging with Pi, not just holding and hoping. The market cap currently sits at $4.53 billion, positioning Pi as the 28th largest crypto globally. That's a big deal. For a project that hasn't yet fully entered centralized exchange circulation and still has major KYC issues looming in the background, sitting in the top 30 shows the sheer potential of Pi and the weight of its community. But there's no denying it, right now the market's feeling a bit bearish. That's largely due to the massive unlock we saw today. As more Pi becomes tradable, the fear of increased supply pushing prices down becomes very real. We're already seeing it in the charts, however, all hope isn't lost. Because here's the twist. Not all unlocked Pi is automatically sold. Some pioneers might choose to hold, waiting for a better price. Others might believe in long-term value and simply choose not to trade at all. If a large portion of that newly unlocked Pi stays out of circulation, we might actually see a rebound in price. Analysts are already eyeing $0.625 as a key resistance level. If the market sentiment flips and more buyers come in, we could easily bounce off today's lows and make a quick move toward that target. But again, it all depends on how people treat the unlocked supply. Will pioneers dump or hold? Looking at the immediate forecast, most models are placing Pi's price somewhere between 59 cents and $0.625 over the next 24 hours. It's a tight range, and it reflects how uncertain this period is. The real trigger will be trading behavior. If whales or early holders start selling, we could see prices hit the lower end of the range. But if volume drops and selling pressure eases, a mini recovery might follow. Beyond price, there's growing frustration in the community. Many pioneers are stuck with KYC issues, delays, errors, and no validator rewards. You can see it in forums and Telegram groups. People want access, progress, and transparency. That frustration makes sense. For a network with this much potential, the onboarding issues are serious. Migration data only shows part of it. The human side, the users in limbo, is just as important. The core team needs to move fast, especially now that more Pi is hitting the mainnet and real trading is shaping its value. Still, this is part of the growing pains as Pi moves from speculation to a working economy. Pi Network is now in the open mainnet era. Mining is over. The tokenomics are real. The numbers matter. And each decision, from how users migrate their Pi to when they sell, directly impacts the future of Pi's price, utility, and adoption. So, as we wrap up today's update, the big takeaway is this. We're in a critical phase. The market is watching, holders are deciding, and Pi Network is inching closer to defining its real-world value. Whether you're holding tight, preparing to sell, or just observing, this is the time to stay informed. Alright pioneers, let's break down what we just covered. Today we saw over 1.44 million Pi migrated to the open mainnet, with an additional 11.8 million Pi unlocked, all of which could shake up the price depending on what the holders do next. The total supply sits at 11.3 billion Pi, with 7.34 billion in circulation. Price-wise, we're hovering around $0.617, but the next 24 hours could see a shift anywhere between 59 cents and $0.625, depending on sell pressure. That's the current landscape, and it's evolving fast. So, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on Pi Network price, migration issues, and KYC problems. Now I've got a question for you. Do you think the price of Pi will go up or down by tomorrow? Drop your predictions in the comment section below. And if you've got a question or want to contribute your opinion, don't be shy. Jump into the comments and let's build this community together. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every one of you. See you in the next video.